Hey everybody, welcome back to some more early morning barking, talking about BPD and NPD by somebody that has both. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons and follow me on Patreon. Thank you to all of you who are doing that. It's awesome of you. Now then, today we're going to talk about the blanket of meh. I've talked about the blanket of sadness before, and I've talked a lot about that. How that emotional blanket comes and it wraps us up and we get warm and cozy in this blanket of sadness and just feel sad. But there's this other blanket that we don't talk as much about, and I think it's harder to pick up on, it's harder to detect because it's not as extreme, and that's the blanket of meh. The blanket of alright, not bad, not good, just meh. You know, I've had worse days, I've felt worse, and I'm not feeling suicidal or anything like that, but meh. You know, it's a sort of neutral numbness where nothing really works. I kind of liken it to the emotional equivalent of trying to lose weight, right? At first, it's easy. You might have a lot of weight to lose and you start doing stuff and the pounds start falling off. And then eventually, as you near your target weight, things get easier. And notoriously, those last few pounds are the hardest to lose. And I kind of feel like the blanket of meh is just like that. It's this nearly right, but not really. If it was a blanket of sadness, that's actually easy to deal with. I would rather have a blanket of sadness because there's so many things set up to deal with that. It's ridiculous. Right? That's the easy one. It doesn't feel good. Obviously, it's a blanket of sadness, but at the same time, there's self-care techniques in place to deal with that one. But the meh, that's so much harder. It's so much harder to come back from just off the middle than way off the middle. And I think it is that. It's just that last few pounds. Because nothing is interesting, nothing is exciting, nothing is motivating. It's all just meh. That's the problem, right? If I'm in the depths of despair, it's easier to pick me up a little bit, relatively speaking. But just off center, I don't care about anything. Nothing is inspiring, nothing is energizing or enthralling or motivating or captivating. It's just all meh. And I think these are the times when I actually become perhaps the hardest to be around. Like just miserable, but not. You know, what have I got to complain about? Nothing really. What's wrong? Nothing. Just meh. Just everything's blocked. It's so difficult. And in terms of coming out of it, what are you to do? Just sit and wait it out? It feeds itself. This is the other problem with it, right? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's another one of those. Like, I feel meh, so I don't do stuff. And then that makes me feel worse. So I feel even more meh. It's a neutral, sad, happy, good, bad mess of just existing emotionally, not feeling anything positively or negatively, and it sucks. I'd honestly, at this point, I would take sadness over meh. Really. It at least feels like you're feeling something. You at least feel alive to a certain extent, you know? And it feels like that list of things you can do to improve things is endless. And there are so many that are so easy to do. But now, listen to some music, watch a thing, play a game. There's nothing that's really interesting me or grabbing me. There's nothing that is making me feel, oh, I want to do that. I'm excited for that. It's all just meh. There's things in the future to look forward to, but right now, this minute, what? And And so dragging myself out is tough. I feel like maybe the best thing to do is a change of environment, a change of scene. Maybe not just go out for a walk, but go somewhere and do something kind of thing. And I'm kind of... I think that making yourself do something helps. It's not easy to do, but sort of forcing yourself into it. And doing those baby steps of breaking a task down into small little bite-sized chunks can help. But then you've got to pick a task in the first place. It's possible you've got one. For me, it was making a video, right? I had this video to do. I had no idea, and I was complaining about my blanket of meh. And now, of course, that's the video. And it helps to do something. I feel better now, actually. I mean, not to bring you my problems and everything, but, you know, I've always said this is like my therapy too. So I feel better for this, for just moving and doing something and talking. Because it's easy to sit wrapped up in a blanket, and it's very difficult to stand up and throw it off. And I'm not sure I've done that yet. I mean, come on, lack of emotional permanence and all of that sort of thing. Who knows what's going to happen when I stop recording. But making yourself do something sometimes helps. I hate that really patronizing, condescending thing of, if you're feeling bad, try smiling. It will make you feel better. I wouldn't dare really say that to somebody's face, honestly, because I know how I'd react if somebody said that to me. But at the same time, it doesn't not help. It doesn't hurt things. I think you've got to be really on the edge. You can't say that to somebody in the depths of despair, but just sort of forcing yourself to move and do things and start talking and trying to be upbeat and positive seems to bring in this sort of positive flow of energy. God, that's a bit woo. I don't like that. But at the same time, isn't that a thing? I don't know. Not a flow of positive energy from the universe. That's bollocks, obviously. But a sort of mental, chemical, motivational thing that I can go with. And I think that it's sort of like sometimes you really don't want to go for a run, but if you make yourself start running, it starts to feel good after 5 or 10 minutes. But the difficult hump is going for that run. But if you can see your way to getting changed into your running gear and putting on one shoe at a time and leaving the front door and start walking a bit, and then maybe you jog for 10 yards or whatever, I can see how that can get you there. And maybe the key to the blanket of meh is just finding something like that. Oh, there we go. Maybe solve the problem. How is that going to work out? Well, let's see, because I've just done a thing. Maybe I'll feel better after this. Let me know how you get on with this. I know you know the blanket of meh. Yeah, it's not my favorite, I'll be honest. There are no blankets of happiness. What's that one about? That just feels unfair. Anyway, you take care. Let me know in the comments how your blanket of meh is going, and I'll see you later. Bye.